Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Cocaine.
Durfing.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to yet another edition of Cocaine Willie, the official K-State representative on the College Huddle. I am your commissioner, Bob Trollsby, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, the good chef, the great chef Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt Marchesini. Tonight, we're doing our locks and fantasy picks for Week 2. But first, before we dive into the episode, we first want to give a shout out to our two sponsors, Annie Mae's Parlor and Pat's Beef Jerky. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Annie Mae's Parlor, located at 616 North 12th Street in the heart of Aggieville in the Little Apple. Annie Mae's, as seen here, has been open for 50 years and is an absolute must-visit destination in Aggieville on game days and school nights alike. Annie Mae's is far and away my favorite destination in Aggieville, and I always make a point to go visit my auntie every time I come back to the Little Apple. They feature a wide variety of craft cocktails, draft beers, and everything in between, along with entertainment like live music, comedy, and all sorts of other events every single week. Coming up, Annie Mae's Parlor has a couple of events that I am going to be plugging here. On September 6th, they have Jazz Night presented by Boot Hill Distillery, and again, a quick tease. The Annie Mae's signature single barrel bourbon from Boot Hill will be dropping this holiday season. So their partnership with Boot Hill kicks off with Jazz Night, which is a monthly event that they have, and then will be furthered by the single barrel bourbon, which is going to be an amazing cocktail mixer, all that other stuff that you drink it straight if you want. I don't know. Pick your poison. Do whatever you want. September 12th, Underground Guitar Pull, a night of singer-songwriters and sharing their own songs and stories and tales of their lives. On September 24th, we have Horrible Movie Night. Again, you need to IMDb this one before you go ahead and watch it. But this month's movie is Night of the Kick Fighters, which I can only imagine has something to do with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or some sort of weird mixed martial art, something or other. And October 12th, the Waco Brothers, which are a Bloodshot Records recording artist, they will be performing with your auntie on October the 12th. So check out their website to get a list of upcoming events. That's www.auntiemays.com. And visit your auntie in MHK. Obviously, we don't have a game weekend, but it doesn't matter. Go to Annie Mae's. Watch the game there if you're not going to New Orleans. Right in the heart of Aggieville, 616 North 12th Street. And be sure to tell them Cocaine Willie sent you. Our second sponsor.
Bring back the John Daly. Our second sponsor is Pat's Beef Jerky, located at 401 Main Street in Liebenthal, America. Pat's Beef Jerky has been serving up the finest beef jerky in the Midwest for 34 years running, and they feature mouthwatering flavors like the classic beef jerky, the teriyaki beef jerky shown on your screen there, and my personal favorite, the savory beef pepper sticks. And I am very excited to get my Pat's Beef Jerky care package here this week, boys. I don't know about the two of you, but I'm looking forward to getting re-upping on some of those beef pepper sticks here in a second. So I'm looking forward to getting that package. You can pick up your own care package in person at either the Fridge Liquor Store in Manhattan or at their original store at 401 Main Street in Liebenthal, Kansas. Last but not least, you can also get Pat's Beef Jerky online at www.patsbeefjerky.com. And if you use the promo code CATS at checkout, that's CATS with a C, you will receive 10% off of your next order. So go use that promo code CATS at checkout and place your order today. Boys, how we doing? Boys,
how we doing tonight?
Did you like my Toby Osinsami intro of the show today?
Did you freeze?
Yeah.
My computer just does that automatically. Like my internet just makes me freeze. So
yeah, great internet.
Yeah. Well, Tobio,
Central Ohio.
Tobio. He was my guy that I said was going to be the sack leader.
Yeah, I didn't believe you, and man, oh man, he looks
What did I tell
different. He looks different.
Yeah, he does.
That was different level. It was a combo. Like he had like the hustle of Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I had visions of him and how he just like constantly just shed blocks, just get off of me and get to the quarterback. And you know, it was similar to what was our guy Ryan Mueller. Like he has the build of Ryan Mueller, but the ability of Felix. It was crazy.
It looked interesting. Now I'm thinking of because he kind of reminded me of like early days Khalid Duke.
Freshman Khalid
Like
Duke at Oklahoma.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of seeing out of that. But I mean, it's going to be very interesting how he develops in his career in college.
I mean, I called it. I called it a year ago.
You only, out of all the things you call, you get a check mark next to this one, but the 99 others.
I'm missing, but that one bullseye is crazy. It's right when you needed it. He put his hand in the dirt. He doesn't have technique. He doesn't have the moves. He doesn't have the spin moves or rip throughs or anything like that. He just goes and gets ball, which is you kind of just need that sometimes because the other guys are taking on double teams and he's one-on-one. He's like, you can't. I can just run by you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was awesome to watch. It was really awesome to watch.
It really was.
He's the second best player on the football field out of, every position, offense, defense. The only person that was better than him was Dez.
Interesting.
Dez was pretty good too.
Freaking monster, dude.
Yeah, he was.
He's a ball of, he's a ball of barbed wire. That's what he is.
Yeah. It was impressive.
I love
second best player on the field, huh? I guess you were probably.
He was. Better than anybody on offense.
Wow.
DJ Ginn was good.
DJ was good.
DJ was good.
It was consistent. But he didn't make it wasn't like UCF DJ Giddens. I feel like he was, he slowed down for a couple of those runs. Didn't run through a lot of it. When he had his breakaways, he broke away. Dylan Edwards was good. But he was schemed open for. No, you could definitely see.
You can see it with Dylan.
The thing with DJ though was the UCF game. It was just him, right? Trayshawn Ward was out for that game. So if you think about was it I'm seeing DJ run on Saturday. I'm like, this is what we've seen from him game after game after game.
No, he's
and now he has a guy behind him that will give him a little bit of a rest, or you can play both. Seeing both of them on the field together, the first play of the game, just provides a little bit of kind of what you could see in the run game and how you can leverage them while they're both on the field.
And I know we were playing UT Martin, but Joe Jackson looked really good too, and Jimmy White had a touchdown. Those two guys also have really great plays that you can point back to from the game. And if you're needing to take some of the pressure off of DJ and still have Dylan be this kind of rover, what's he doing? Is he line up in the slot? Is he going to do a jet sweep? I don't know. You can keep Dylan doing what Dylan's doing, and you can work in guys like Jimmy White and Joe Jackson.
I think that screams more that the offensive line was, better than I expected them to be. The offensive line, they didn't miss a beat. I didn't even really notice them. I was expecting to see what is Kilty? What does he look like? What is he doing? And he was just literally a stone wall on pass coverage, and they just ran the ball for 9 yards a clip. So it was crazy. I just didn't even notice that the offensive line. And I think that, especially later in the game when they just were leaning on freaking, they were leaning on UT Martin. It was, I don't know. It was good all around performance. Everybody was at least a B- for me. Offense B-. Special teams special teams A-, and defense A+.
What are you looking for this weekend going into the Tulane game? Because I think a lot of the narratives coming out of the UT Martin game was offense looked sluggish or maybe lackluster. Just it wasn't quite there. We didn't see this offense that we were promised in a lot of ways. And I would combat that a little bit because I really do like how they opened things up a little bit in the second half. Obviously, Avery getting a couple running plays definitely helped in getting that momentum going and getting into a rhythm, because we also talked off pod a little bit about how they felt kind of out of rhythm and out of sync in that first half as well. But I would like, you see it with Dylan Edwards, you see it with DJ, like we've seen it this whole time. You see it with Jace Brown, and I want to combat the notion that the offense was bad. I don't think they were bad. I think they were good but not great. They weren't even close to great. They were okay to good. If we
35 offensive points. It's not bad. It's not bad. But it was clunky. It was not what we were expecting right out the jump. And I think people, are captured by the moment. Avery turns the ball over. There's a fumble on special teams when we're about to get the ball. And then 2 3 and outs. But everything else, the offensive starters played 43 snaps. And 6 of them were 3 and outs, and the rest were like scoring drives of 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals. I mean, what do you want? If they would have played 65 snaps, they probably would have scored 100.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But I think there were probably some unfair expectations set on the offense for the first game of the season, when in the grand scheme of things, what we saw was a very similar mindset to previous seasons of, we're going to run the football because we have talent at the position.
Yep.
And we will take opportunities, when we can in the passing game to make some plays. Truth be told, I mean, DJ Giddens having a very good game, and what we saw from Dylan Edwards in the backfield signifies to me that this team can go a lot of places if we put an offense together that allows them to run the football and average 5-6 yards a carry. And then you can let Avery do things that he needs to do on his side to improve and run an offense. I think, I could probably be guilty in saying I was expecting to see Avery throwing 20 or 25 times in this game, and you were expecting more deep shots, and you were expecting to see some more athleticism from the wide receivers, just because the expectations of what we're hearing in the offseason of, he's a great passer. The wide receiver group is the strongest we've had in years. And they may very well be. And it may also very well be that the game plan that was put together for this game was not going to show some of those pieces off. But it was very much a test drive of, hey, this is what we can do in this offense, and this is what our baseline is. So it does go through in a situation with a game on the road. You are probably, if your offense scores 35 points on the road, you would imagine that we're probably going to win this game if they continue the execution like that. But obviously they're playing now an opponent that's going to be like, going to be better than UT Martin, and you're in a road environment. So
I think, was it shaky? Yes. Was it what we wanted? The expectations, like you said, Matt, were sky high. I mean, we're talking Heisman for Avery, for God's sakes. Preseason stuff. We ran the ball, we wore him out in the second half, and we got what we wanted. Could that be a formula throughout the season? Maybe. I mean, if with the vaunted running game that we have, we could wear some teams down, and then that leads to Avery scrambling. That could lead to deeper shots down the field, play action. but the wide receivers have to step up. The tight ends have to step up. I mean, Braden Lofton, I mean, he stepped up for sure. Oak Dog didn't have a single catch, maybe one target throughout the game. But it could be a recipe. I mean, we could be a defensive team that, holds people down, and we take big shots later down in the game when the team is tired. That's what this depth is for. That's what the coaching staff wanted to establish, and that's what we got. So we'll see Tulane. Tulane's going to be the big one to see what we look like.
Yeah, we're coming out of this preview pod that we just did with Sam at Wave After Wave. I guess what are you looking for in that matchup?
It's gotta be the receivers, because we're gonna need them. I mean, Tulane, eventually somebody's gonna sell out and be like, "Hey, you're gonna have to beat us through the air." And if Avery is everything that we think they can be, and if we've seen what Jace can do, we need Keegan. We need Dante Cephas. We haven't seen Dante Cephas with the ball in his hand at all, not one time. So let's see what he can do with the ball in his hand. Jaden Jackson looked good on some, end arounds, kind of jet sweeps kind of stuff. Keegan looked like Keegan. I mean, he didn't step up. He didn't grow. I mean, just from the one game sample size, obviously that doesn't mean anything, but he could still explode later. But from what we saw, it's that same old Keegan. So we need improvement from the wide receivers. And I think on the road, this is where rubber meets the road.
Rubber meets the road. I think the biggest key is going to be limiting the first quarter and putting your defense in a position to where you're not down early on the road. Not being fazed by that environment. They're going to be a team that, they're going to try and make some moves on offense and go, they scored 52 points last week. They have playmakers. And on the defensive side, you have to stand your ground early on in this game. No quick touchdown, drive for the first possession. Can't go down double digits in the first quarter. You have to just stand your ground and saying, like, this is going to be a battle. And then letting your offense do what they need to do on their side. I've seen the away games. I mean, last year against Mizzou, you're up early and, you're up for a good portion of that game. And then you get into the fourth quarter and it's, the execution starts lacking on the road. And so on both sides of the ball, Mizzou last year. So that's why this is a really nice test early on, a road game, against, an opponent who's had recent success in the past couple years, but undergoing a coaching transition. You have to take advantage of opportunities when you're on the road and put yourself in positions, maybe riskier positions to, that will effectively, give you a better gain towards the end of the game. But I think the defense is going to have to show up. I really do not think this is going to be a high scoring game. Everybody does, but I don't know. There's just something about it, a road game early on, that just gives me a little bit of pause, no matter the opponent, especially in these types of games where you're a ranked team going in, it's like they're going to put everything out there because this is an opportunity to build, your resume on the road, especially in a situation where now, like, you want to try and you win these games. This puts you in a great position to potentially make the playoff as a group of 5 team. So, for some reason, I just think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think defenses are going to kind of show up in this one, and there's going to be some mistakes, on both sides, and we're going to kind of figure it out late. But
they're
God damn it, it's a revenge spot. Damn it, that's what it is. I don't care what the players say. It's a revenge spot for me. I still remember 2022. Damn it, come on, we got to get these guys.
I like what you say though, Matt, because it is 2 teams that have defense as their identity. I mean, you've got John Summerall, who's only ever been known for having great defenses, and then Chris Kleiman, who comes out of week 1 effectively giving up less than 150 yards total in total offense, I think, across the board. And that's just, I mean, we talked about it early last season too, that those first few games, this team really prided themselves on defense. I just don't see. Tulane does have the talent though at the same time. So I don't know. Maybe it is a slobber knocker. I don't know. It's going to be really hard to tell. It's going to come down to which defense does the best at the end of the day.
Yeah. Two second-year quarterbacks. It could just lead right into what Matt was saying. I mean, if Tulane's defense is, what they want it to be, to confuse Avery on the road, and then our defense is putting pressure on a redshirt freshman quarterback in his second career start, it could lead to no points. So we'll see. I'm confident off of what we saw in UT Martin. That was a very solid UT Martin squad for the FCS ranks. Tulane played literally the worst team I've ever seen in my life from the FCS ranks. They were terrible. I don't even know what that team was. I mean, that looked Lindenwood bad. So shout out to Tulane, and let's hope for a good game.
Chef, real quick, you had some over-unders last week that you went through. Do you want to recap those and share a couple over-under questions for this week?
Yeah, week 1, we had passing Avery touchdowns at 2.5. Matt took the over. I took the over. Bob took the under. By 1 yard, Bob Trollsby and a computer a review booth review that didn't happen. Bob got the check mark for that one. Then the second over under was defensive turnovers at 2.5. Matt took the under. Bob took the under. Andre took the over. A double loser for me. We didn't have any turnovers, and we turned the ball over twice. So that's not good. Not a great start to the over-unders for me. Bob, you're 2-0. I love that. And then for week 2, I've got a couple. Offensively, Garrett Oakley catches, setting at 1.5. Mind you, he had 0 with 1 target.
Over for Bobby.
Oh man, I'm gonna say under.
Matt with the
I'm
underdog. I'm gonna go over as I'm going over as well. I think Braden Lofton, Swanee. I think Swanee is the designated blocker. He does great at what he does, and I think Braden Lofton coming out, he looked good. But I think Oak is going to have a game. Now, defensively, we saw the rise of Toby Osinsami. We talked about him just a little bit ago. I'm setting the over-under sacks 1.
Over
for Matt. No pushes.
Game.
No pushes.
Over.
No pushes. What
No
that?
pushes.
Then why'd you set it at 1? Just set it at 1.5.
Well, 1.5 is a little bit too much. Because I think 0 is an option. Well, I guess I should have said it at 0.5. No, because I think he had, what do you have? 1.5? He had 1.5 last game.
Okay, it's a sack. You can have a half a sack, so maybe set it at 0.75.
Oh my God! None of y'all are Vegas bookmakers. Let me tell you.
No, I think 1 is fine.
Didn't he have 2? Didn't he have 2? He had 2.
No, he had 1.5. In the stat book, he had 1.5. He had the one that we shared with Mott, and he had 1 solo.
Oh,
Mott had 1.5.
That had 2. All right.
No, he was in on a lot of it. He had played 11 snaps, and he had 6 pressures on the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's a defensive game, so I have to go over on that.
Okay, and I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna go over as well. Everybody took the over. I love it. Toby Osinsami for defensive MVP. Let's go.
All right. Any last words before we get out of here for previewing, recapping, all that good stuff?
we gotta have it, boys. Revenge factor set to a 10. Revenge factor set to a 10, and I'm happy with what we saw from special teams at UT Martin.
I agree. Well, that's going to do it for our little preview recap episode there. Once again, shout out to our sponsors, Pat's Beef Jerky and Annie Mae's Parlor. Remember to visit patsbeefjerky.com and use the promo code CATS for 10% off your next order. Additionally, we are the K-State representative on the College Huddle, which is the largest community of fan-driven content in the nation. Check them out at thecollegehuddle.com and follow them on social media at College Huddle. Last but not least, you can follow our show at Cocaine Willie on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram, or follow us individually. I am at Bob Trollsby, Chef is at Chef Andre Napier, and Fireball Matt is at Matt Marchesini. Chef.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
We are all coke and no joke. Wildcat country.
Let's
roll that motherfucking
Let's ride.